Hello wonderful people, Connor Whitmore here again with another video for you on the Nawtystep channel. Hope you're all doing well. Very well indeed. Here we go, new Subfocus album. Been out a few days. It is called Evolve. It totals to 53.5 minutes long, almost, pretty much. Third solo album I think here from Subfocus, fourth in total, if we're including the collaboration album he did with Wilkinson a few years ago. One of my favourite artists ever, not just in drum and bass music, one of the most iconic artists to ever grace that scene, and someone whose music I've loved for a decade or so now. Just definitely one of the very best when it comes to that kind of music. And yeah, like I said, just within bass music overall, a bit of a legend. I think without any further ado, we should just get into it. Kicking off with the opener, which is in collaboration with another D&B legend, Metric. It is called Trip. Let's go. Already kicking off with that euphoric leaning, super warm, hopeful feel about it. It's just the soundscapes that he delivers and produces with his music consistently over time. Just the consistency is absolutely incredible. Ooh. I mean, you can hear the Metric in there, the thickness of that production, the punch of it, with quite a simple idea going on here. Bit of a match made in heaven. Pretty straightforward concept here for this drop, but it really works. It has the pull because of the production, because of how fleshed out and rounded it is. Again, just got that punch. Plus that melody, well, what we're getting right here, right now, however simple it might be, it's super effective. The note choice is very good. It's just got that classic, effortless, Subfocus kind of euphoric leaning to it. And I say euphoric leaning because it doesn't quite reach that proper highest high of like really euphoric, but you know, yeah, edging towards it. Yeah, not a track that's going to go down in the ages of incredible Subfocus tunes, but did tick a lot of boxes, you know. The melody, simple, clean, and evoking quite a lot of emotion, even through not doing very much. The production, very punchy, just really rounded off, like I said. A lot of depth and definition to it. I'm enjoying the vocal sample, the main vocal sample we get there, just giving it that extra bit of life, elevating the track that little bit more. Brought in really well with the introduction, how kind of ethereal and dreamy that is, and tail ending that as well with the outro, just capping it off really well there. It just does a lot of things right and acts as a very good introduction to the album, just giving us a good taste for his style and I suppose what we're going to get for the rest of this album. Moving on though, we have track number 2, Calling for a Sign with Kelly Lee. It's a good vocal. I'm not like in love with it quite yet, hearing it here for the first time, but I imagine over time hearing this more and more, definitely get there, definitely get there. Something about the transitions into the heaviness, not quite there, doesn't quite have that kick, that oomph when the heaviness comes in. Just something about the transition into those drops. Yeah, not bad, that one. I think even more simple, even more kind of stripped back and ordinary in a way than the opener, Trip. Yeah, the vocal, nice. I think, like I said, that is just one that I'm gonna love more and more the more I hear it. Was pretty good hearing it there for the first time. The production again here, pretty clean, pretty straightforward, to the point. Got a good punch to it. Not quite the same level of punch as with Trip before it, where the metric production I think was quite clear to hear, but still good enough, I think. The one issue for me, which I did again touch on, were the drops, where I think when they come in each time, it's just lacking that oomph, that real kick, that bite. Maybe something to do with the kick, I don't know, but when the heaviness comes in each time, each drop, yeah, it doesn't quite have that bite, that menace, that really packed out feeling, like I said, just to bring them in that impactful way. But yeah, aside from that, just a pretty straightforward, simple, classic sub-focus kind of number, good bits of melody in there, and just fine for the most part. Not particularly standout for him, I imagine, within this album and within his discography. It's just going to be another pretty to the point classic sub-focus kind of tune, that one. Next up we have Fine Day, track number 3. Ooh. Changing up the percussive style and structure. Yeah, these bits are pretty catchy. Not entirely sure what's being said at certain points, but melodically nice enough to kind of hum and sing along with. Yeah, another track there, not asking too much of the listener, just pretty radio-friendly D&B. The vocal, pretty sweet, I was a fan of that. Some nice infectious, catchy, sugary kind of moments there with the vocal. And the production, again, good here, just pretty crisp and clean and all that. The ideas are fine, pretty inoffensive, I would say. And I'm kind of wondering how much more of that we're going to get across the album, you know. Tracks that don't feel particularly ambitious and are just kind of, you know, fine, okay, and just keeping the album kind of ticking and moving along, if you will. We might get a couple more like belters across the LP, but I imagine most of it will be made up of stuff like that, so just curious as to the extent to which that will be the case. Still want to note on the percussion in the heavier moments as well there with that track, just varying it up a bit, a little bit more of a breaks kind of effect, you know, a little bit more old school with the percussion there, but that was cool, I appreciated that. Next up we have a track called Vibration at track number 4 with Arco. I think this is the one tune that I've heard from the LP before going into this start to finish, so I don't remember enjoying it that much, but we're going to be hearing it again here. Never take the first listen as gospel, and yeah, here we go, Vibration. Yeah, I do remember this actually, and this is good. I'm still not that much of a fan of the vocal. It's got a little bit of a naff feel to it, if I'm being honest, and I do enjoy Arco. Like I like their feature on the Cascade and Deadmau5 album, the recent album they put out. But this one, yeah, just got a little bit of it's very 2000s indie kind of vibes. I'm not sure it quite fits within a D&B format. It's got that nice airy kind of flavour about it, but the main melody in that drop, and we're gonna get it again. Spot on. Yeah, what's the musician that I'm thinking of when I think of stuff like that? Maybe Foster the People. Not saying I strongly dislike Foster the People, it's just not quite my bag, that kind of vocal, and I think that is kind of what we're getting here. Or maybe I'm just remembering that completely wrong, it's another band altogether that I'm thinking about. Ayo, ayo, he lives in me, ayo, in my way, ayo. Couple Lion King vibes in the house. Bam, 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 bam. That is sub focus in full flow. That little, just oh, so good. Something about the vocal I just can't take seriously. I don't know what it, I think it's just the voice itself, which is weird because again I've really enjoyed Arco vocals in other tracks, but here I don't know what it is, I just can't. But the good, I think, weighing out the not so good with that track. I mean, the vocal, yeah, just got a bit of a childish feel about it. I think that's why I can't quite fully take it seriously within that D&B context. The melody, the heaviness is going for quite a serious tone. It's like, it's quite, you know, quite dark, quite brooding, you know, it's just something on the horizon kind of looming over you, and we're getting prepared for that through that melody, which is just fucking fantastic from Sub Focus. And I'm not sure the vocal completely matches it, but you know, I do enjoy the rest of the track quite a lot. The production, the melody, again, just how simple it's constructed and how much feeling and emotion it evokes and elicits along the way. Maybe I'll just end up liking the vocal as well quite a bit more as I hear it more, because I will be going back to it for those drops alone. They're just, again, so effortlessly good. Very, very classic, typical Sub Focus there. Very much him in full flow. Moving on, at track number 5, we have It's Time with Gene Farris.
People, it's time to work it.
I hear that. I hear that lurking in the background. I love it already.
To work it. This is what we do.
Why is it so empty? I mean, he's trying to do something different, clearly, which, you know, I'm all about. I'm all about experimenting and doing different things, but this is just that synth in the background just kind of creeping. That is, again, vintage Sub Focus. Vocals good. The heaviness, I'm just like, huh?
This is what we do. You ready?
It's quite the setup, isn't it, for a drop that is that skeletal. This one is at least a little bit more layered on from what we got in the first drop. It's got more going on, it's a bit more fleshed out. That first drop was just genuinely confusing. I was like, why is it so bare? Why is there so little going on? And we get the same kind of thing here, but at least it's a little bit more, you know, a couple more sounds and a bit more filling action, gap filling action going on. What? I'm kind of struggling in a way to get my head around this one, not gonna lie. Yeah, look, I'm all for doing something a little bit different and varying it up a bit. I think that was needed at that point, well, at this point in the album as well, but that was just confusing to the point of like, well, empty to the point of confusion, more like. Yeah, just so little going on. In that first drop in particular, I was like, it sounded a little bit like garage bandy, if I'm being honest. Like, there was just a lot of room that was being left unattended, and that was really odd because the setup with the introduction, that synth kind of creeping in the background, classic Sub Focus kind of sound, the vocal was good as well, kind of getting you hyped up, and then when it dips into the heaviness, you're just like, oh, hollow's exactly the word that I would use. It does pick up a little bit in the second drop, to be fair, but still just, yeah, very skeletal, not a lot going on, so it didn't really sound like him. It didn't feel like it had him in it. It felt a bit unfinished, kind of like a demo. Definitely had a demo feel about it. But anyway, moving on, we have Ready to Fly with another D&B legend on show, Dimension. Ooh. just doing the simple pretty well. Nothing exceptional here really so far. I think it's just going to be another where the vocal rubs off on you more and more as you go back to it more. It's infectious. I can feel it. I can feel it, you know, rubbing off on me. Just notice it's got 21 million listens on Spotify, so I think it's been out quite a while. But yeah, I think this is going to be one that, you know, the vocal just kind of carries it over time. Ooh, that's a bit of dimension input, I think, right there. There you go, there you go. Yeah, again, mostly just fine, a good vocal yet again, and a good switch up from one drop to another. Appreciate the difference going on there. Working together pretty well here, subfocus and dimension, decent production, just knows what it wants to do, gets that over and done with relatively quickly, not much kind of faffing around or mucking about, just has a goal in mind and executes it pretty efficiently. You know, not a lot of flair here, it is quite simple, again quite straightforward with the ideas and the production as well, just quite stripped back, quite classy in the execution, but we have got quite a bit of that by now, so just wondering if we're going to get some significant bits of difference or things just taking the album in a different direction, because there's a lot of that just going for that same kind of approach. And I know that's his style, I know that is Subfocus's style of course, and Dimension of course in a big way as well, but I think across an album you are looking for bits of experimentation here, just stuff to enliven the style and make the album one that you want to go back to repeatedly because it's offering something completely different. But at track number 7 on that note we have Alarm with MC ID. Okay. Ooh, go on then. Ooh, I like that. I like that. Ooh. Ooh. Even this little sound just really adds something to his usual style. Again, it is a simple track, it's to the point, knows what it's good for, just wants to crack on, pretty simple short track, D&B again, but it's just that little sound, gives it that character, gives it something different to elevate the style, elevate the aesthetic, you know. Yeah, one of my favourites so far here, I think. Again, quite simple, quite stripped back, going for the same kind of thing, the same kind of style, similar kind of aesthetic, but like I said earlier, when you've got that little idea, that little sound that's just going to perk it up a bit, freshen it up a bit, enliven it, just give it a little leaning to go off, a little direction to kind of go off in, then you've just done a great job there of giving it a new twist, giving it an added bit of excitement basically. And that sound, that little woozy, low-lying, you know, kind of subdued sound that we get in the drops there, fucking fantastic, really works, super catchy, infectious, all of that got me swinging along like this, really good. I also really enjoyed the vocal from MCID, got big international chase and status energy, I would say, that vocal fit the track perfectly. And yeah, it was really well packaged, that track as well, could have been a lot longer, didn't have to be, you know, cut it off at the exact right point. All the sections had a good relationship between each other. It didn't, you know, fuck around and do too much, didn't overstay its welcome in any way. Yeah, just clean cut, to the point, and succinct and concise with what it wanted to deliver. At track number 8 we have Off the Ground. Oh, that vocal. Deary me, that is lovely. Interesting siren-y kind of sound there. Really nice dovetailing and kind of rebounding and ricocheting between the more dreamy sounds that we're getting and the more they're mixed perfectly. That is all mixed perfectly. The vocal gorgeous as well. It's just it's just that creaking. I'm gonna have to get used to that. Oh. Behave, that vocal, gorgeous. You know, warming to it a little bit more now, but it's just so prominent. It's so like high up in the mix. It's just like really almost invasive, you know. Another pretty straightforward, simple kind of sub-focus, drum and bass, clean-cut track, and another I think where you've just got a mix here of like stuff that really does work and maybe a little thing or two here that don't quite work and maybe drag the quality of the track down just a bit. That siren, yeah, I mean I can't quite get over it. You know, I was enjoying it a little bit more when the second drop came around. I was like, okay, I can see its place, but still just felt super invasive in your face and not quite fitting within the mix, if you know what I mean. But that besides, I mean, again, the production super crisp and clean, those shimmering really, really nice, and then in combination with the rap, properly reaching for that euphoric feeling where other vocals have been, you know, still good, but not quite got to that point. So yeah, that one on Off the Ground was, I think, closest reaching to that super euphoric point. But now, to be honest, I am looking for something in this final few that's just a little bit more ambitious than what we've got so far. We've had quite a few tracks by now that are going for pretty much the exact same thing. On that note, next up, track number 9, we have Waiting with Kelly Lee again on vocal duty, and Polar and Bryson, can't be forgetting them, on production duty with Mr. Subfocus. Let's go. You can really hear that warmth from Polar and Bryson with the production, just gives it that, just like props the track up with that, you know, just again low-lying, comfy D&B kind of sound. Yeah, very warm, very inviting. Those wubs, line below, rev, yep. Lovely addition. Again, well made, euphoric leaning, got a good kind of hopeful feel about it. Good sounds here and there. I do like the combination between Subfocus and Polar and Bryson, just providing that warmth. The latter, Polar and Bryson there, just propping it up a bit with that comfy kind of D&B sound. Got a nice glow to it, the production overall, the drops in particular, those nice wubs in there as well. The Kelly Lee vocal is alright, it's fine, complements it well. It's just quite unremarkable yet again here. It just feels a little bit, okay, here we go again kind of vibes, you know, not providing anything particularly new for the album. A little bit too straightforward. I mean, by itself, it's a nice track. There's nice stuff to it. There are good elements, but I think within the context of the album, I'm just like, yeah, this might just, you know, fade into the background a little bit. It's not providing anything to make it kind of stand out by this point, by the time we get to this point in the album. So yeah, does it have good elements to it? Does it function well as a track in itself? Yeah, it has got good to it. You know, I mentioned that stuff earlier, but within this album, you know, does it offer anything new? Is it a track that is going to live long in his discography or memory in any kind of way? I don't think so. It's just, it's fine. It's fine, really. But moving on from there, we have I Found You, track number 10, with Hayla, who is fresh off the back of working with Cascade and Deadmau5. John Summit, you know, huge vocal talent. So one of my favourite vocalists in the scene right now in electronic music. So excited to see what this track whips up. Let's go.
Just know it's only a matter of time till I find you. When you're lost, when you're lonely, and you don't know what else to do. Till I find you. Till I find you.
Again, just a pleasant, kind of sweet feel about it, but mostly fine.
When you've had enough time being alone, when you need a friend to carry you home, when you're lost, when you're lonely, I'll be running all the way to you. Till I find
Yeah, again, can't really say anything other than it's fine. I mean, I thought there was a bit of lost potential there, given Hayler's performances on other tracks in the past, like Escape, like Where You Are, really reaching those belting high notes. And I was like, okay, maybe we're gonna get a real elevation of Sub Focus's style here with a belting vocal like that, but it never really got to that point, edging towards it, but never fully reached that point. And the instrumental itself, again, pretty, quite sweet, those twinkly little sounds that we get in each drop, quite good. I think the progression of them is alright as well. Nice melodic progression going on there, but just amounting to something, just fine. Again, agreeable, inoffensive, playing it quite safe, not being particularly ambitious with the sound usage here. At track number 11, we have Secrets with Rhodes on vocal duty, I think, and Camel Fat and Culture Shock on production duty alongside Sub Focus. So this could be quite an interesting one. Over 5 minutes long as well. So let's get on with it, shall we? Ooh. Okay. I like that. I like this opening quite a bit. That jolting, that kind of little. Yeah, that's good. I like that. Nifty. Yep. That nice little upturn, I'm a big fan. It's cheeky, this one, got a bit of movement to it, I'm a fan. The little breaks feel to the heaviness, the focal point as well, whatever you want to call it. Just a nice little pace setter at this point in the album. Really needed it, Yeah, flavour, bit of flavour. Providing something different, notably different at this point in the album, but also just doing pretty much everything right with it, with the execution of it. I can't really think of something that is notably or distinctly off point or just not really working within the track. Everything is firing here and kind of coexisting and working together really well. Even the vocal, not a particularly remarkable one, but really functioned and worked well within the context of the track, not too showy, not too out there, not stealing the limelight from the instrumental, and that was super important, I think. But yeah, loads of moments, like I said, the dit, a little upturn that we get following each drop. You got the dit, that skittish, jagged, jolty kind of motif that was repeated over the course of the track. Produced, of course, really well. We got 3 production legends on show here, and what I do also want to say is that it's not easy, it's never easy making collaborative work. I've said this before, but you have to think about every single sound they put in or include, that has to be okayed and kind of verified by the other people involved. So to get to a point where they made a track that is that kind of complete feeling and complete sounding, with producers, lest we forget, who are from different kind of scenes and spheres of electronic music for the most part, yeah, that they made a track that kind of rounded off and well done is quite impressive, seriously impressive, and also just loving the difference that this provides at this point in the LP. Following that though, at track number 12, we've got the final 3 now, and first of those is Overcome with Francis.
you turn the shade into light, and once all our battles are won, I know we'll be alright. I know we'll overcome. Oh, yeah.
Particularly crispy, that production for him. Particularly refined and sharpened. That is nice. That is tidy. That is tidy. This one just feeling a little bit classier than others of its kind on this album. You know, the production just that bit thicker, crispier, and more refined, and the vocal better. I think I'm preferring this vocal over most within the LP. It's got that little bit of an emotional tinge that really draws you in. Lyrics are pretty good as well. Yeah, my main drawback with that one would be that it feels a little bit like it's over before it truly gets going. I mean, what is it? Is it the shortest track on the LP, just under 3 minutes? But, you know, does have that feel about it of like, yeah, you know, it's just getting into its groove and then it's finished. It's pretty simple in terms of how it transitions from one section to another. I think we could have had a mid-section in there just to kind of lengthen it out a bit, draw the track out a bit, give it a bit more body. I think that would have been good. But yeah, beyond that, it's just a nice tune. Again, the vocals lovely, the drops are nice, quite blissful in feel, and again, just all coming together pretty well there. The production, again, notably thicker, just got a nice kind of punch and depth to it from Sub Focus there without anyone else involved on the production front, so that is good. Penultimately though, we have Don't Want to Come Down featuring Lows. This is the penultimate track, like I said, number 13. Take me to the stars above. Okay. Another nice vocal here. Big, got a bit of a Florence and the Machine kind of vibe about it. Yeah, these drops have got a super warm feel to them, again, just quite comforting. And again, going for that breaks kind of outlay. Yeah, another decent breakbeat kind of venture there. I think the vocal very nice and just suited as well, again, to the instrumental. The drops have got a warm, fuzzy kind of feel about them, which is nice. I think the introduction could have been lengthened out just a little bit more. I think the way it was set up made it feel a little bit short, and the drop doesn't, you know, it doesn't come out of nowhere, that first drop, but I think it could have been just, yeah, lengthened out a little bit more just to wind up to it a little bit more, give it that bit more grandeur as we work towards that first drop. But yeah, just nice, just comforting breaks kind of feel about it. I really like the energy of it, just kind of pulsing and vibrating throughout the track. Maybe you're wanting something a bit more characterful at this point in the LP, preparing for the final tune, but yeah, I mean, fine, doing the job mostly for what it's going for. But following that, we do have the closer. Here we go, track number 14, Turn Up the Bass, featuring Johnny L. Okay, finishing up with another pretty stripped back, just sweet sounding, sweet feeling D&B cut. Okay. Give me that London sound. London sound, hardcore sound. Don't get your sounds mixed up, mate. Wait, what? Wait, just 20 seconds of nothing to finish an album? Nah, that is not that is not the play. A good track I imagine to kind of finish a D&B set with, or maybe have in the middle just to provide a bit of respite. You know, it works, it functions okay as an ending in terms of the tone of it, the feel of it, the vocal matches the instrumental well. It's just got that very carefree, spring going into summer kind of vibe, and yeah, again, functioning pretty well as an ender for an album, but then the way it finishes there just really does take you out the moment as an ending, not only to that track but as an ending to the LP. Like, it only really makes me take it less seriously when you hear stuff like that, just having 20 seconds of absolutely nothing happening when you've spent all that time not only within that track but across the album just building up a vibe, an essence, a feeling stylistically and all that kind of thing. When it comes to the album overall, I mean, yeah, I wouldn't say it has a completely characterless kind of feel to it, but it is, you know, verging on that. There's just so many tracks here that feel very similar, go for the same kind of thing, same kind of production, same kind of ideas, same kind of vocals. There's not really much of a story permeating these. It's just like a collection, a compilation, more than an album, I would say. All of that considered, it just doesn't feel particularly rounded off as a project, as an LP, if I'm being honest, having heard it just once through here. There is a lot of good here, don't get me wrong. You know, production pretty much across the board on point. It is solid, it's rounded off, it sounds pretty good, and there are some good vocals here that elevate their respective instrumentals. There are good melodies here and there, little moments, little sounds in particular tracks that really make those tracks their own. But if we're talking about it as a whole project, yeah, it feels a little bit starved of ambition, a little bit ordinary, not really offering that much new or giving us that much more of an insight into his style. Just a little bit of a run-of-the-mill feeling about it when we know how ambitious he can be with his music. You know, we do get bits of experimentation here, but it's so drowned out by that simplistic, to the point, just super stripped back D&B approach that we've heard so much from him over the years, that it doesn't play that much of a role within the album overall, and so just gets, yeah, completely squashed, I would say, by the overwhelming sub-focus style. And I think with an album, you do just want a bit more experimentation, you want a little bit more branching out, and again, just showing us new sides of your design, of your aesthetic, of your approach to music making and production. So yeah, a little bit of a flat experience overall, a little bit underwhelming, but I'm definitely hoping that some of the drops here, some of the melodies, some of the vocals build on that as I hear it again and again. You know, we could get quite a few tracks here that do just rub off on you quite a bit over time. I imagine that will be the case, especially with the vocals. You know, there's always room there for, you know, emotional leaning and just really pulling you in through vocal performances. So yeah, very much hoping for that. I'm sure that will happen. Going to be going back to it quite a few times more, because the first listen is never gospel, people. We always know that. Going to leave that first listen there, people. Hope you enjoyed the video. Do let me know down below what you've made of the album. Do you have a favourite track of the 14? And what are you making of the LP overall? Drop all your thoughts, all your comments down below. Subscribe if you are yet to. Like the video if you could, that'd be great, would be much appreciated. And I shall see all of you legends in the next one, whatever that might be. Keep it naughty until then. Peace.